What's up, everybody? This is Marcus, your MTT coach of the Academy of Poker, and we're here with another hand review for today. And as always, as we jump in, make sure to leave a subscription to our channel, leave a comment in case you have any questions or critics, and yeah, leave a like to the video so it helps us to grow the channel to get a bigger reach, and also, of course, to keep us motivated throughout our work. Hi guys, my name is Marcus. I'm an MTT coach of the Academy of Poker, and we have a great offer for you. Our current Academy of Poker course will only cost you 200 euros, but if you do it the right way, you can even get it for free. All you have to do is hit the link in the description below, get in contact with our managers, and you can start right away. And now, enjoy the upcoming video. Yeah, I first thought of, to be honest, to make a complete final table review. You might have saw it on our Instagram or my private Instagram or during the stream when I talked about it. Recently won the bigger 440 on a Sunday. Finally, after a big downswing, yeah, won the bigger 440 for 2.3K, which is a really nice score. And yeah, finally got one bigger win on a Sunday again. And yeah, so I thought about, as I said, doing a review of the whole final table. But to be fair, the whole final table was only 96 hands long, and just went through the hands, and there were really pretty much nothing interesting. I just swept through this tournament. I got aces 4 times, got them all in, I think 3 of those 4 times, got kings all in versus a worse hand, got queens all in pre, and all those things, and just everything fell into, yeah, into my hands. And the only really interesting hand here was also because of ICM considerations, was this one. And yeah, just to be to be exact, so just the hand before, this is the exact hand before that happens, just to show you. Um, yeah, I won aces versus queens, and this is the next hand directly afterwards. I just got dealt aces again. So first of all, that's already really sick, because you have like a chance of 1 out of 350 or so to get aces. And yeah, I just got them back to back. And yeah, you see 96 big blinds over here, second place, because that's the player we're playing this hand against, 56 big blinds, and third place has 25. So as you see, quite a big lead I already had over here. And yeah, let's jump into it. So because as you see, we start this hand, UTG, we are still 7-handed as you see. And yeah, UTG versus UTG +1. He opens, I 3-bet, he calls. Let's first have a look into the ranges. So I thought about this being his range. He was more on the looser side of the game, at least pre-flop, but not too overly aggressive. So it's not like he just jams ace king over here for no reason. Um, but then, so that's why I gave him pretty much this range here. So what he opens and then just calls. So aces and kings, he would probably sometimes just call. Aces, because of I will bet a lot and he can get it on the flop and he will just win a big pot. Because if I also have a strong hand, which I will most likely have here, 3-betting UTG +1 versus him, uh, he will get a lot of value out of here. And by 4-betting, he is pretty much down to aces and then sometimes kings. So he would scare a lot away, and that's why calling here would sometimes also make a lot of sense. But I said he liked to see flops and stuff, so I also put in some of the smaller pocket pairs in here. Don't really see him raising queens, jacks, or tens here. At nines and eights, he would fold quite some time for sure. And yeah, then also not as you see, not with a big percentage, just calling here, but most likely folding these hands. And yeah, so that was what I gave him here. And that is pretty much my range here. As you see, I was quite a big chip leader, 40 big blinds ahead of him, so I could put quite a lot of ICM pressure on him, as you see, because he was 30 big blinds away from third place still. So that's why my range is a bit stronger here, or a bit wider actually. And as you see, I would 3-bet those hands from time to time, fold them, of course, the other time, but that would be what I 3-bet sometimes, use ace-5 suited as one of the better ones here pretty much every time. And as you see, like ace-queen off would flat those hands sometime, the other percentage just raise and sometimes fold, but it's looking quite like this. And as you see, not that big of a difference in ranges. Now, you already saw it. We get the queen 7-4 flop, and I continue for around half the pot. He just calls. Let's have a look. Interestingly enough, as you see, I'm pretty sure I put in everything correctly, but the simple post flop is telling me that every play would be fine here from the opponent, which is kind of funny. Now he goes for the check, and then again, for me, pretty much everything is fine as well here. And as I said, I'm not sure if I made some mistakes. I think I put everything in correctly, so we will go with that. But yeah, we bet half the pot, and player one calls. So we can have a look. As you see, just everything is fine here by the range. Pretty much every play is accepted by simple post flop here. Now there's where it changes, and as I said, like when he slow plays the aces, he would most likely then raise the flop and get it in also versus ace queen, ace, and at least versus ace king, I think there should be most likely a call, but as you see, he should pretty much always raise here because I also have like kings in the range, and then it's going to be really hard for jacks or tens, for example. And yeah, quite some queen x combinations I have here, which I would most likely stack off then. And yeah, he's going to fold most of his, pretty much all the garbage and continue with all the queen x, with some of the overcards, pretty much just ace king and ace king off, ace king suited. But yeah, not fold anything of the rest, which makes just a lot of sense. Then we see the turn, and he suddenly goes out for a lead. Now, I put this in here as well, and you see, actually, simple post flop does like some leads here, which include aces, kings, and some of the queen x combinations. Most likely, I would think those with exactly those with a club a bit more often here with the queen of clubs, and less often with the ace of clubs in hand, as you see here. And for the rest, the same. So we would sometimes lead out here with the queen of clubs. Pretty sure this one, as well. If we have the ace queen of clubs in this situation, we'll do that as well. The other ones, not that often. Then also probably to protect versus ace king for the checkbacks and so on with eights and nines. And here again, the bigger part of it exactly with the nines and the eights where we have a club. Same goes for the tens, probably sometimes at least. Yep. So the rest will be checked, and as you see, most likely he will check to 3/4 of his range. Now the sizing is still kind of off, like 1/6 of the pot roughly, and just because of the his stack, I decided to not go for that big of a raise. Let's see if that is okay. And we actually see we will actually fold some stuff, which of course makes sense, like all the garbage we have in our range here, and pretty much not raise anything all in, but make this small raise sometimes. In this case for aces, looks like the perfect play. Same things for kings, and then what the things we raise would be pretty much always the ace queen of clubs. But as you see, our range is really tight in that situation. Then we can have sometimes a raise here, as you see, with the hands where we have the ace of clubs in hand. Not that often with the king of clubs, and even less often, in case we have no club at all. But yeah, and also taking ICM into consideration, let's also see what he should be calling here. So he's still not calling any of the queens. He's jamming aces. He should be jamming aces now, and also just calls kings. And as you see now, the range simple post flop is giving him here is top pair and overpairs. Pretty much nothing else. And the one combination of ace king suited, because he then has the nut flush draw. But that is it. So there's only pretty much value hands here and the one draw combination. Now the eight of clubs hits the river, and as you see, even if he check folds now, he would still be second in chips. He lost half of his stack here, but he would still be second in chips, which is kind of important because the payouts were like this, as you can see. So it was 2,300 for first, 1,100 for second, which he was still, and seventh place was only $200. So you see there's such a big difference in the payouts. And yeah, for him just folding uh, would make a lot of sense. And let's see now here. So he should be checking 100% of his range. And if we then jam the rest, let's see, he should be calling pretty much a lot. Yeah, he's actually folding all the weaker queens and should actually be folding kings. Aces are no longer here in there because according to Simple Post he should have put them in on the turn latest, and I think that makes a lot of sense that he just doesn't show up with aces anymore here. And yeah, so it didn't go that way because he decided to jam, and that is over here, which he shouldn't do ever, as you see here, but he did. And yeah, we actually fold more than half of our range. And as you see, we call all the flushes, of course, because we have those in our ranges, which is clear because they are the nuts. Let's see with the kings, because we have some folds over here, as you see, uh, we call all the ones with a club, king of clubs, even more often, but still 2/3 of the time we call the other ones. And with the aces the same. So my exact aces that I had were diamonds and spades. So this one we call it 2/3 of the time. Same with the other ones, and all the ones where we have the club we call it 9 out of 10 times. And yeah, I decided to make the call because even though I didn't block the club, the only hand that I lose to here there were actually a few more. So there's ace queen of clubs, which could be that way. But I would think that ace queen of clubs could be a thing. He raise calls pre, he check calls the flop. This donking might be interesting because I would think he still just check calls or check jams the turn, or with that much equity he would donk jam, which was my idea here. And with a set of queens also would probably jam the turn. I just don't see him really going for it. And then even if he has the queen of diamonds, it's just a third nut flush blocker. Don't seem really going for the jam on the river. So the only real thing I was afraid of would be ace queen of clubs. That made sense, or also aces. He did end up having kings, and not even with the king of clubs. So I'm not 100% sure about this play. But I thought like this was the only one where, because I tanked at least a little bit to think about again how the hand played out, and you see, okay, he raise calls pre. Yeah, this ace queen of club makes sense in that way. Kings could be that way, queens could be that way. But then again, wouldn't he donk and just call the turn with queens? Don't think so. Ace queen of clubs. So that is one combination I lose to. But then there's at least all the combinations with the kings. That's 8 combinations with the kings, which is still a lot. So I would have those in my head, and that's pretty much it. So didn't really see a fault here. Also, the thing is, even if he has ace queen of clubs, and if I lose it, I don't think like he's showing up with any other of the sets here. Pocket sevens, pocket fours. It just doesn't make sense. Why should he raise call pre-flop out of position with sevens or fours? I mean, he could do it. Would be a huge punt, but I at least thought he's gonna have some considerable hand that makes sense to play there. So yeah, the thing is, even if I would lose the hand, as you see, I still have 40 big blinds behind me. So I would still be 15 big blinds ahead of the third place. So would have, of course, lost a big one to him, but I'm sitting on his left. And even after that, I could pretty much still continue almost the way I played before. Of course, before the hand, I had my 90 big blinds already, and I could just crush the table, putting so much pressure, especially with him still being alive here on 4 big blinds. So they had to ICM fold so many things versus me. And of course, I did put pressure on them later as well with light 3 bets and stuff, but nothing really to talk about. That's why I didn't decide. That's why I decided to not show a complete review. But thought this one is really interesting. And yeah, don't think there's any I would ever consider folding aces here, even though simple post flop says I should fold them like 1 out of 5 times roughly. Yeah, a bit less, even 1 out of 6 times. But yeah, right around that time, and yeah, kind of interesting, I would say still. Um, what do you think about his play with the kings here? Would you jam the river? Would you see any point of giving up the hand or just bring it in preflop? I mean, it's 114 big blinds, so jamming like 4-bet jamming 60 bigs would be tough here. Because the other way I would have played, if he 4-bets, I just flat and then he bets the flop and probably gets it in on the turn, and it goes in latest on the turn here. So he could have just 4-bet jammed pre to maybe, because I still have enough 3-bet bluffs here that I just fold, but then again, I think it's a good play for him, because if I just have ace queen or king queen and just barrel through here, he just gets all the chips from me. Or probably on the river I fold, because I would give him a lot of credit here. But in general, he could still get a lot of chips, and even before the turn, as you see, there was already 60 big blinds in the middle. So if I fold the river, then he still wins 60 bigs, and I'm down to 40 here as said. So actually, no, I was not at 40 before the turn. Sorry, yeah. Okay, I had 80 big blinds. Sorry, yeah, I was at 80, roughly at 80 big blinds then still. So if I fold, I still have 80 big blinds here. I would have just lose around 20 big blinds in that hand. So that's not that much. But yeah, therefore, I mean, it's a disgusting spot for him with the kings, I'd say. But yeah, probably, I think check folding the river is probably the best here. It's a $4 tournament, which makes those things even harder, I'd say, because probably a lot of people will just go crazy if they hit the queen here in my position. But yeah, really tough decision. Was great for me, as you see. I got aces back to back, busting not only one but two players back to back for 30 and 415 big blinds, and yeah, never really had a problem throughout the whole final table. Yeah, feels good. Gave me a lot of motivation to continue to like go back and play and continue to play, because it was getting kind of rough throughout the downswing. But now, again, really happy with how this ended. Let me know, guys. How would you change the plays here? Do you think he can ever get away from the kings? I think the only way is on the river for him to kind of get away, because the flush hits as well. But other than that, I think it's pretty hard. Let me know in the comments what you think about the hand. Um, or if you have any other approach about how I played it as well, let me know. As said, thanks for tuning in, guys. As always, make sure to leave a comment. As said, good luck at the tables for after this video. If you play or if you're still grinding, maybe you watch this on the side. And yeah, have a nice day, guys. See you in the next video. Bye.